Hello and happy Eastertide to everyone. Today I want to talk about the topic of being a follower of Jesus. My guess is if you're watching this video and someone on the street were to come up to you and say, "Do you follow Jesus?" your answer would be an instinctive and an immediate yes, answering it without really any thought. And that's the point I want to talk about today. What does it actually mean to be a follower of Jesus? Does it mean living like Jesus lived? Well, remember, Jesus was an itinerant preacher. He had only the clothes on his back as far as we could tell. He didn't have a whole lot to eat. He wandered from town to town. It wasn't a very glamorous existence. Does it mean caring for the poor? Well, I'm sure that's part of it. But is that it in its entirety? Does it mean loving your neighbor as yourself? Well, we all ascribe to that. How closely do we meet that goal? And we could go on and on. What does it mean to follow Jesus? There's a song, or a hymn rather, that I think we all know. I have decided to follow Jesus. I'm going to make a confession here. There's something about that hymn that has always bothered me. It's not my favorite. I think it's the notion of having decided to follow Jesus, as if becoming a follower of Jesus is similar to sitting down at a table and writing out a list of pros and cons to make a decision as how we will live. I don't think that's what it means to follow Jesus at all. I read an article earlier this week written by a priest who I admire very much, who lives in Philadelphia. And this priest was talking about following Jesus. And he gave an analogy that I think is brilliant. He said, truly following Jesus is more or less like participating in ballroom dancing. Now, on a personal level, that doesn't work too well for me. Darla and I took ballroom dancing lessons shortly after we were married, so some 35 years or so ago, and I was horrible. But Darla and I are pretty good at jitterbug dancing. How about that? And I think the analogy works for that as well. Whether it's ballroom dancing or it's jitterbug dancing, there has to be one who leads and one who follows. But the one who follows doesn't do so at a distance. The one who follows has to do it with a sense of intimacy, following closely the move, every move of the leader. And it is this sense of intimacy that I think is the key to being a follower of Jesus. If we really want to follow Jesus, it doesn't come from praying once in a while or reading the Bible once in a while. It comes from knowing Jesus intimately. And that comes only by being with Jesus in prayer day after day after day. And once we develop that sense of intimacy, then we'll know what it means for each of us to follow Jesus, because it's going to vary from one of us to another. But that's how we follow Jesus. We follow him as the ballroom dancer or the jitterbugger with a sense of intimacy. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday.